My name is Sean Whalen, and I will be doing my speech on renewable energy. There's a global energy crisis sweeping the earth right now as we speak. This issue holds a vast amount of weight due to the environmental impact it has, as well as the impact upon our health as humans. Coal is the most heavily used form of energy throughout our world today. Wind and solar power are both extremely efficient alternatives to coal power and should be focused upon with a far more intensified outlook. Today I'll discuss the energy crisis, why our energy is currently a major problem, and how we are going to fix this. Coal is a fossil fuel and therefore is non-renewable. As with any fossil fuel, it emits massive amounts of harmful sulfur dioxide and nitrous oxide. The burning of coal emits 93% of the sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere today. It emits 80% of the nitrous oxide in our atmosphere today. Both of these contribute to acid deposition, also known as acid rain, as some of you might know. Acid rain has an extremely bad effect on the environment in which it falls upon. It burns forests, the acid burns the needles, it melts through or leaches through granite and gets into groundwater deposits, therefore poisoning people. It also gets into streams, making it intolerable for fish and other forms of wildlife to reproduce and live. So it's extremely harmful. So there's nothing good environmentally that comes from this. It is also very harmful for us to breathe in as humans if it is not in water form. Another major byproduct of coal is mercury. Mercury, as everyone should know, is a heavy metal, and it is not healthy for us whatsoever. It contributes to extremely intensified brain damage if taken in large doses. This mercury is an extremely regionalized issue due to the fact of there's a mine on the border of Oregon called the Durkee Cement Mine, and they mine the granite off of there and they make cement out of it. They burn coal to heat the cement, which lets off huge amounts of mercury and sulfur dioxide and all that great stuff. All of this goes into the Burnt River, which is right near the mine, which flows into the Snake River, also known as Brownlee Reservoir, where many people in the Treasure Valley like to fish. I myself fish there a lot and often eat fish out of it, which now knowing that there's a ton of mercury in there, I probably have unsafe amounts of mercury in my body. And that's not cool at all whatsoever. So, despite this grim reality, there are 42% of the Earth's energy comes from coal. Only 4% comes from solar and wind power. This is an astonishing figure considering how efficient solar and wind can be. Coal combustion is a very destructive form of energy production, but luckily it's not going to last forever. Not only is coal harmful to ecosystems and our health, but it's also being depleted at a very rapid rate. Coal is essentially the remains of an ancient swamp that has been buried underneath countless years of sand, water, and pressure. Having it be this organic matter, it cannot be replenished, therefore it is not a renewable resource. People are spending massive amounts of money going anywhere they can and mining in a very destructive fashion this coal, which is having insane effects on the environment and the people that are mining the coal, considering the health of them, or the effects of them breathing in the coal dust. For instance, the Appalachian Mountains are known for their mountaintop removal form of mining. The mining companies legitimately go into the mountain, or onto the very top, and saw the top half of it off to get into the core of it, in which the coal lies. This is, as you can imagine, very destructive to the ecosystem. When they rebuild the mountain, as government makes them rebuild the mountain, but it is, even as they rebuild it, it's still artificial, which meaning plants can't grow there because there's no water table. The trees just completely disappear, so it's just a big pile of rocks in which when it rains, the water runs right off and floods the lower grounds beneath it, therefore just totally making it inhospitable for people and animals alike. So, in regards to that, the government is trying to do a little bit to stop that, but there has been no true cease to the mountaintop removal. At the rate in which we're currently mining coal, it will last around 300 years, but if the trend is to increase, which it has been for the past while, we will run out of coal within 250 years, making it absolutely essential for us to find an alternative to coal power. Solar and wind power are environmentally friendly alternatives to coal. Both solar and wind power are renewable. There are no byproducts given off from either of these. Due to this, there are no negative side effects on human health or the environment. The sun shines everywhere. Sun's shining right now. Even when there's clouds, solar energy can be collected. The wind blows everywhere, especially in Idaho. Idaho is capitalizing on the fact that we have vast amounts of wind within our state, and we have been implementing lots of wind power out towards Pocatello and Twin Falls, which is great in the transition out of coal. People who argue that solar and wind energy would not be as efficient as coal energy are sadly mistaken. If we were to, for instance, in California, they have vast wind farms that stretch all throughout the desert. If we were to do this with solar energy and have massive areas of solar panels in areas where the sun shines like extremely intensely for a good amount of the year, we could collect far more energy than a coal factory could ever produce. The government needs to create a system that will restrict coal companies from making a profit, therefore shutting them down, so we can phase in this new renewable energy source. If this were to happen, countless lives would be saved and extended by the increased air quality that this would provide our world with. Wind and solar power are truly the future of electricity generation. The world needs to convert out of coal power and into renewable energies such as sun and wind power. We must solve this global crisis, or the fate of the world. We must solve this global crisis because the fate of the world in future years to come depends upon it. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.